Hi, good evening. My name is Sam Ahmed, and this is a Cybersecurity Awareness seminar. We're going to be talking about everything cybersecurity related and digital. We have 4 speakers with us here today. And this seminar is being sponsored by Girl Tech Africa. It's an initiative that is designed to help girls integrate into tech, teach them computer coding, everything tech related, because the world has become tech is the future. So everything is related to tech now, and we need to get into these spaces and make the changes that we would want to see, instead of letting other people do it for us. And this is what Girl Tech Africa is focused on doing. So we have 4 speakers with us here today, and each speaker has a topic they're going to be talking to you about. I'm going to call them out so they can introduce themselves and their topics, and then we can begin. So our first speaker is Hafsa El Yaqub. She's the founder of Mahatech, and she'll be talking to you about navigating online challenges. Hafsa, please introduce yourself, what you do.
Hi, everyone. As introduced, my name is Hafsa El Yaqub, and I'm the founder of Maha Technologies, a tech-enabled recruitment agency, and the co-founder of STEM Coders Club, ABU, and a graduate of computer science from Ahmedabad University.
Thank you, Hafsa. And our next speaker is Vicky Johnson. Vicky, please introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. I'm Victory Johnson, but you can call me Vicky. I am a website designer and digital marketer. And I studied civil engineering in Ahmedabad University, graduated recently. And I'm going to be sharing insights into identifying phishing websites, malicious emails, and crafting secure passwords. Yeah.
Thank you, Vicky. Third speaker is Zainab Idris. Zainab, please introduce yourself.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Zainab Said Idris. I am the ambassador of the Google Women Tech Makers and also the assistant program manager for Arewa Ladies for Tech by Data Science Nigeria, and also a Hausa tech content creator. And I'll be talking to you all today about the cybersecurity basics and also protecting your personal information online. Nice to meet you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Zainab. And I'm going to be your first speaker. My name is Sam Ahmed, and I'm a paralegal. I'll be talking to you about cyberbullying from the legal perspective. So let's get started. If you have any questions, please drop them in the chat box and indicate indicate who the question is for. Thank you very much, and let's begin. Hafsa, can you please start?
Right then, thank you so much, Musalma. So I will be starting by talking about navigating online challenges and staying safe online. So first of all, I want to congratulate you all for being on this call in the first place, because it doesn't matter what field you are aspiring for in tech. You don't even have to be in tech. Everything is going online. So being knowledgeable and conscious about how to stay safe online is crucial nowadays. You want to protect yourself from all sorts of things, actually. So I wouldn't be diving into details. I wouldn't be going into details because I believe the other speakers would be doing that. So I'll just be brushing off all the general topics that you should probably know about. So first of all, the 3 most important things that you should think about when trying to stay safe online is to protect your personal information, number 1. Number 2 is to stay safe. That is your security is important. And number 3 is your sanity. Okay, so you can keep your personal information safe. You can keep protect. You can make sure you're secure. Your security is good, but then your sanity is being affected. So when trying to stay safe online, 3 things, like I mentioned: your personal information, your security, and your sanity. Okay, so number 1, your personal information. I don't know if any of you have heard of identity theft. There's a popular movie, I can't remember what it's called, where they spoke about one lady that used to steal people's information, and then she would steal their financial information by doing so. And then she will pretend to be them online, and then she will get contracts and steal money by pretending to be, let's say, Salma Ahmed, for example. So that is real. People can do that. Another thing to consider when trying to keep your personal information safe is that another thing people can do is to, by knowing your personal information, they can know where you live. They can know how much you have, for example. I remember some years back, one of the Kardashians, I remember she posted about her traveling to Paris, was it? I believe comments and questions would be coming after the presentation, so I hope to be hearing from the audience about what they think about this. So she posted about them going to Paris and her getting something very expensive. And then she spoke about where they were going and where they were staying. And then she didn't know that among her many followers online, there were people that wanted to steal from her. So as soon as she left the building, which she obviously showed, she was like, okay, we're going out. So they were able to steal from her. So they were able to use that against her. So those are one of the things you need to consider. It's not everything you should be posting online. And yeah, and then the most interesting part is that cyber attackers online are getting smarter and smarter every day. Technology is changing. You're seeing AI, you're seeing a lot of new technologies coming up. So it's important to keep yourself safe. You don't know what's coming up in the future. And you don't know where your data is going to. And another thing to look at is try to stay up to date with what's going on. And in terms of sanity, I believe one of the speakers will be talking about cyberbullying. Cyberbullying, in a nutshell, is about when people talk badly to you. So, and then also screen time. Many of us stay online for longer than we should. We end up talking to strangers. So we should be able to protect ourselves from things like that. And in terms of security, when people talk to you randomly on WhatsApp asking you for your financial information, or they call you and say they're calling you from your bank to ask for certain information, you don't simply give it to them. So you need to be conscious. You need to think about, okay, this person's asking me for this. Does this sound legit? Does this sound realistic? If it's too good to be true, then it's probably too good to be true. Or they say that you won tons of money and you should send your information, they will send you the money. That's probably a scam. I'm sure we've all heard of scammers. So basically, those are all things to consider in a nutshell when thinking about navigating online challenges and how to stay safe online. And like I said, once again, congratulations for being on this call in the first place, because it doesn't matter what field you're going for in tech. It's 2023 ending. We're heading into 2024. And I can't think of a better time for someone to want to be more conscious about what's going on online and to try and stay safe. So if anybody has any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Thank you so much for that. That was really amazing and insightful. If you have any questions for Hafsa, please leave them in the chat box and she'll get back to you at the end of the session. So thank you. And our next speaker will be Vicky Johnson. Vicky, you're up.
Hi, everyone. Let me share my screen. So first off, I really want to commend Girl Tech Africa for everything that they are doing. I do have a passion and can relate totally to their cause, which is bringing girls into the tech space. We need more women in the tech space in Africa. So thumbs up to you guys. You guys are doing a great job. And I want to say a big thank you for giving me the opportunity to give my 2 cents at this event. So I was asked to speak on online safety and cybersecurity with regards to phishing, creating secure passwords and the likes, and identifying malicious emails. So let me quickly introduce myself. My name is Victory Johnson. you can call me Vicky. And I am a website designer and a digital marketer. I got into the tech space in 2020 during the lockdown, and I started out as a virtual assistant. My aim was to make money online, which I eventually did, thank God, while schooling. And then my career has taken different turns since then. I've gotten into brand design, IT, human resource management, and now digital marketing and web design. I recently graduated from Ahmadu Bello University as a civil engineer. And this year I founded a company, Skillbirdie, which is aimed at educating young Africans and empowering them to beat the odds in tough economies by teaching them skills that they can leverage to make money through the internet. In addition, I write a weekly newsletter. It's called Digital Discourse, where I teach, I share insights with tech enthusiasts and everyday people on things that I've learned in my journey that have helped me to thrive financially and generally life-wise online. Yeah, so that's enough about me. Let's dive right into the topic. So I know that many people, when you think of cybersecurity, you think of it as some techie, very complicated job title, right? But in reality, cybersecurity concerns all of us. So I'll just define it briefly. Cybersecurity refers to the practice of protecting systems, networks, and programs from digital attacks, theft, and damage. And these attacks can come in various forms like hacking, phishing, malware, and basically any threats to compromising your personal information. Now, how does this affect you as a young Nigerian or as a parent, as a regular person who's not into tech yet? You need to protect your personal and financial information online. So as long as you use the internet, cybersecurity concerns you because keeping your private life private while still online is very essential. So there's what we call a digital footprint. Every time you use the internet, you leave behind a footprint. And you want to make sure that bad guys online, scammers online, cannot access your footprint and then use it against you. Use it to scam you, get access to your financial information, your personal documents, or any information that they can use to harm you or people that know you and trust you. So that's why cybersecurity is important to everyone, basically. As long as you use the internet, you should be learning about cybersecurity. So yeah, like the first speaker said, congratulations on being on this call because you are taking a very important step that everyone in the 21st century should have or should be taking. So you need to become cybersecurity conscious. And I don't know a better way to do that than to understand what goes on in the mind of a scammer. So an online scammer's aim is to get your personal information. And from there, they either sell your personal information, or use it to access your financial details, which they can then use to scam you of money, or they infect your device with malware. So malware is short for malicious software, which is a software that runs through your computer and gathers sensitive information like your passwords, logins to your bank accounts, and stuff like that. And then when they get this information, they can then access your financial details and scam you of money or other important stuff in your life. The other common thing that online scammers would do is steal your identity and use your identity to scam a family member or a loved one, someone that trusts you. So they pretend to be you. And I'm sure we've come across situations like that where you would be texted maybe on WhatsApp or on Facebook by someone you suppose is your friend, but then they sound odd and they're asking for money. They're saying they're in a dire situation and they need you to send them money. And then you get to find out later on that their account was hacked. And so that's one of the reasons why we need to be cybersecurity conscious. So I want to give a brief overview of some very common tactics that online scammers use to get your personal information. And one is phishing, or phishing, actually. It's gotten from the word fishing, like with a hook. So phishing is when someone or somebody, like an organization, it could be a scam organization or an individual, tries to gather information from people, which they can then use to harm the person by maybe putting up a fake website or landing page, creating fake events like giveaways or grants. The other day, I came across a grant page. Someone sent me the link to a page to apply for a grant for my business. And then when I checked it out, I realized that it didn't really correspond to the original website of the organization. The logo was so large. And then I checked the domain and saw that it was a bit, suspicious. And then I realized that they were asking for things like my BVN, personal information that I shouldn't be sharing with anyone, in order to get a grant for a very huge sum for my business. So it was clear to me from then that this is a scam and avoid it. So stuff like that. It could be in form of fake scholarship applications or emails and texts. Another tactic is using password cracking tools. Now, these tools try to guess your password, and they are very efficient at what they do, in the sense that a password cracking tool could guess up to like 100,000 passwords in under a minute. And so you really don't stand any chance if you're not using very strong passwords. If, for example, if your password is a combination of your name and maybe your year of birth, it's just a matter of combinations, and your password will be guessed in like less than maybe 30 minutes. So once your email, and that's something that's very public, our emails are usually public. Once your email gets into the hand of a scammer, they can easily try to access like your Facebook or maybe even your bank app. And if you have a malware on your phone, then that's very possible. They try to access your your bank application. They have your email, and all they need is a password, and they guess. They use these tools to combine and combine until they get the right password. So we're going to be getting to strategies that you can use to create secure passwords so that you can avoid this. Another tactic is sending malicious emails. These are messages that are sent with the intent to deceive the recipients and to trick them into taking actions that could harm them, such as clicking an insecure link that takes you to a website that deceives you into giving out personal information, or some emails come with attachments that once you those attachments are actually malware, and once you download them to your computer, they either install a virus on your computer that gathers your passwords and all of that, or they freeze your computer and then you have to maybe pay a ransom. That's actually rare. The second part is rare, but the common type of malicious emails you get are those that have an attachment that you have to download, and then once you download it, it scans through your computer and gets all of your personal information, which the scammer can then use against you. And then there's others like phone calls and text messages and social media. So I'm going to give an example of one that's very, very common. It's like a WhatsApp hacking scam where you would be sent a text message by WhatsApp, and then with a verification code. And then someone will call you and say they're from WhatsApp and they're updating the server or something. And they've sent you a verification code, and you need to tell them that code so that they can maybe upgrade your account or secure your account. What's actually happening is that that person has your number and is trying to log into your WhatsApp account. So when you try to switch phones, you might have noticed that when you put in your WhatsApp number on a phone, it sends you a code so that it knows that you're the actual person trying to log in. And then, so what they're trying to do is hack into your WhatsApp account. But they use very strategic tactics to get you to believe that they're actually from the organization that they claim that they're from. So that's one that's very popular, and we see lots of WhatsApp accounts get hacked every day, because I still got a message like last month from someone asking me for funds, and I know he's my friend, and I know that he wasn't in any trouble or anything. So how do you protect yourself from these online threats? The first thing you need to do is to learn how to identify phishing sites, and then how to identify fake login pages. That's also something where for example, someone who's a bit design savvy creates a website that looks like Facebook, that looks like the Facebook login page, and then maybe sends you an email and tells you you can log into your Facebook to claim some kind of gifts. And then you click on it and it takes you to a login page that looks exactly like Facebook's, but it isn't. And you can easily identify that from like the domain, maybe it's misspelled or something like that. So these are very common. They send you to a fake login page, you input your email and your password trying to log in, but they're actually gathering that data on the back end. And now they have your Facebook login and they can log into your account and scam your family members. Also, you need to learn how to identify malicious emails and how to create strong passwords, and how you need to learn psychological triggers, because that's something that Nigerians fall prey to a lot. And yeah, that's something you need to learn how to do. So very briefly, I'm going to be going over these and then I'll be done with my session. And so the first is identifying phishing sites and fake login pages. So these are the things that you need to look out for. Site security. That means that if you look on the left of your screen, I've put in a URL here. The URL is like the link. Sometimes you receive links that are very long. You can ignore the rest of the characters. Just focus on like 4 major parts. All the parts of the link that come before the .com sign or .org or .net, focus on those. Now you might only see, like, for example, this is my website link. It's vickyjohnson.com. You might only see vickyjohnson.com in your browser. But if you click and try to edit the link, then it exposes the security of the link. So in this case, it's, where is it? HTTPS. So if it doesn't have, the S stands for, okay, let me just go over this. HTTP stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol, and then the S stands for secure. So if it doesn't have the S, if it's just HTTP://, then you're on an insecure website and you want to avoid that. Just log off. Just go off the site. But if it's secure, then you're one step. That doesn't mean that it's not a phishing site, but that's like at least you've verified one step. Yeah. So yeah, that's something to look out for. Site security. The www part is not always there. It might be there sometimes. But what comes after the www is the domain. That's vickyjohnson.com. That's what I wanted to point out. I also wanted to point out that sometimes, for example, if you were to land on a fake Facebook login page, it would try to be convincing in the sense that the domain, of course, will not be facebook.com, but they might use a subdomain. I could easily create a subdomain that is facebook.vickyjohnson.com or facebook.it.com. What you need to check out for is what comes before the .com or the .net or the .org. What comes before that? That is the most important part. If it's not the website or the organization's name, then you are most likely on a phishing site and you want to avoid that. Or if it's the organization's name misspelled, maybe the F and the A are switched in Facebook, then you know that you're on a phishing site. Another thing is poor graphics. That's something that's very common with phishing sites. You will find that the logos are blurry. The images they use look very, very stocky, like stock images. It looks like it was gotten from a stock image website, or even some of them even have the watermarks of these stock websites, like iStock, on them. So look out for that. Also look out for very poorly written content. Look out for grammatical errors and and mistakes, spelling mistakes, spacing mistakes. And when a website has multiple redirects, then it's very likely a phishing site or some kind of malicious sites. When you click on a link, what redirects mean is when you click on a link and it takes you to a page that you're not expecting to land on, you know. And you see that a lot on like if you ever tried to download movies on a pirated on these websites that promote pirated movies, you would try to click to download, but instead of download, it would take you to like Sportybet or something. That's a phishing site. Also, unknown payment gateways. So there are very popular gateways like Paystack, PayPal, Razorpay. If you are about to buy something on your website and the payment gateway does not have like a badge of Paystack or one of these popular gateways, just back off, because you're most likely not making a payment. You're most likely putting in your credit card details into a form on that website, and now they have your details, and they will, if they have access to your cards, that means they have access to your funds. Also, a questionable user journey. This is very important. If you land on a page, you click on a link, and it's supposed to take you maybe to the About page, but then you land on some other page that doesn't make sense, then question that site. So the next is identifying malicious emails. These are things to look out for. If emails are coming, or corporate-looking emails are coming to you from public email domains like Gmail, Yahoo, and Outlook, then you're most probably about to get scammed. So you want to make sure that if you're getting an email from a corporate body that you are going to respond to, that it comes from their own domain. I've put an example here. This is an email that comes from my domain, hello@vickyjohnson.com. If it comes from vicky@gmail.com, but it's looking corporate, I'm making up words, and it's not looking like a personal email, right? I'm not trying to send an email from Vicky Johnson to you. I'm trying to send an email from like a brand to you, and I'm using Gmail or Outlook, then you're most likely about to get scammed. And then if the domain is misspelled, for example, you're getting an email from hello@vickyjohnson.com, but it's spelled with a double K. So if you know the organization's name, you should be able to identify that, okay, this is misspelled, and this is probably a malicious email trying to get me to, click a file that's going to harm my computer, or click a link that will take me to a phishing site. And then also, poorly written content is common with malicious emails, and suspicious attachments, like I explained earlier. And then next is creating strong passwords. I'll give you a few tips. One is to use a combination of uppercase letters, lowercase letters, numbers, and symbols. Now, it might pose the problem of not being able to remember your passwords. So I would advise that you use password generation tools like LastPass, 1Password, or my favorite, Google Password Manager. So if you use Google Password Manager, all you have to remember is the password to your Google account, which you can actually write on like a piece of paper or write in a file and keep it somewhere secure offline that is not on the internet. And then that's the only password you have to remember. Whenever you're about to sign into Facebook or any other social media, or maybe even your banking website, Google will autofill your password for you if you choose the sign in with Google option. Or you can also do that with iOS. If you use iOS, you can manage your passwords with the password manager that iOS provides. Then there's psychological triggers. So online scammers are very smart, and they know the psychology, the human psychology. They understand the kind of things that they need to say to get you to do what they want you to do. So these are like 5 of the most common psychological triggers that you will find. Fear and urgency. When they make you try to act now, or make you feel like if you don't act now, you lose out on something. you need to take a step back and reevaluate what you're about to click on or what you're about to do. And then trust and authority. This is when the site or the person you're interacting with is trying to pose as a trusted institution. This goes in hand with malicious emails. Sometimes you get an email from a misspelled domain and they're trying to convince you that there's someone from Facebook who is trying to secure your account or something. If there's that emphasis on you trusting them, then you should take a step back and reevaluate before taking any actions. Also, social engineering is when, like I said, with the WhatsApp scamming scheme, where someone who you know has gotten their account hacked, and then they try to impersonate that person and try to get you to maybe send money or something like that. So that's one of the psychological triggers that they use, trying to pretend to be someone you know and trust. And then there's the scarcity bias. This one is one that gets us a lot. I mean, it gets Nigerians a lot. When a scammer tries to present something as exclusive and tries to make you feel like you wouldn't get this any other place, normally they would never give you time to think it through. So everything that you know about whatever you're about to purchase, you got from that particular site. Maybe you've never heard about it from anywhere else. You've gotten from that site, but still they have told you, you know, if you don't get it now, it's not going to be available tomorrow, and you're not going to find it anywhere else, and this thing will change your life. You need to calm down and think. Don't ever let anyone online pressure you or make you feel like you have to get something on the spot. Trust me, if it's legitimate, it will still be available tomorrow. Click on it, forget about the timer. Sometimes marketers use that timer to actually make you buy on time. But you find that most times when it's genuine and when it's just a marketing strategy, they give you another chance. Maybe they'll email you and tell you, this is the last chance. You missed yesterday's last chance. This one is the last chance. You know, you always get a second chance. So if it's normally when all these combine, all the notes that I've mentioned earlier, when they combine on one page, like the misspelling of a domain name, the blurry pictures and graphics, and then they're now making you to act now, that's a red flag. That's a bloody red flag. You should know that you're about to get scammed online. And then the last one is the confirmation bias, telling you what you want to hear. For example, let me paint a picture. You're giving me a link, someone sends you a link on WhatsApp, you click to it, it takes you to a landing page, and they tell you, all you need to do is refer 2 people to this website, and by the end of the week, you would have made $50 from those 2 people. Now, if you refer 100 people, you'd have made what? Times 2, 25, 250,000. Sorry, my math is getting bad now. $2,500. They know that everybody wants money. Okay, so they are telling you what you want to hear because they know that you will fall for it. I think that my time is fast spent, so let me just round up here. These are some of the things that you should look out for when you're using the internet, especially when you have a gut feeling that makes you feel like something is not right or something's too good to be true. You can always take these points and run every suspicious website that you come across through this. Use it as like a filter. I don't know. Use it to check that you're not about to get scammed. And I wish you best of luck in your journey into tech. I really hope that you that from here on your online journey is safe and secure. Thank you so much once again, Girl Tech Africa, for having me. That's about it from me.
Thank you very much, Vicky. That was very educative. Thank you. And we'll be calling our next speaker, who's Zainab Idris. Zainab, you're up.
Okay, thank you very much. And once again, thank you, Hafsa. Thank you, Vicky. Vicky, you have touched a lot regarding my own presentation, so you have saved me a lot of time. So yeah, thank you very much. So as earlier mentioned, my topic is related to protecting your personal information. That is understanding what information you should keep private to yourself and what information you should share out, especially on the internet. And also safeguarding some of your sensitive data. And data here means your information on social media and also on other platforms. So protecting your personal information is very crucial, especially in this digital age that we have found ourselves. And also a lot of cyber theft are already out there scouting for information, scouting out for data from vulnerable people that are on the internet so that they can make use of it in a very bad way. So some of the tips that I'll be sharing on how you can keep some of your information private and also some of the information that you should be sharing out are as follows. So I would love that you jot them down. And also, if you have any question, I'll be readily available to answer them at the end of the session. So one is to actually have a personal identifier. It's not everything that it should be out there. Your home address, something like your home address, your phone number, except if you are into business, and that's where you're going to share maybe your phone number for easy contact, and also maybe your business address. But beside that, things like that shouldn't be out there on social media because you don't know who and who is going to like get his hand on that and also harm you through that. Just like how Hafsat mentioned, how was it Kim Kardashian, a celebrity, sorry, that she mentioned, also witnessed something like that, and later on we all saw the consequences she had to go through. So second is your financial information. I know we are in this era whereby a lot of people want to brag that they are rich or they can afford so things. In as much as you want to brag, you want to show off that you can afford some certain things or you can be at a certain location, you should also be careful of those things that you put out on the internet. Things like your credit card, as little, it's not even little, your bank details, that's your account number, shouldn't be out there on social media because just having your account number, somebody can just grab a lot of information out of it, just your account number. So you have to be very careful with all those juicy giveaways that we all see on social media. I will feel like, oh, let me just try out my luck. So you don't know who is watching, who is there in the comment section, just fishing out, dishing out information out of it and taking a lot from it. So please be very careful and be very mindful of where you put out your financial information. Your password and also your security answers should be something that you should also be very mindful of. Just like Vicky mentioned, your password shouldn't be something like your birthday or your maybe your phone number. No. Those things are very easy to guess and they can easily be manipulated. So please be very mindful of the kind of password you use and also ensure that you are well secured with the unique password you are making use of and ensure that it's something that you can remember. If you feel you cannot remember, please take note of it or better still, make use of the Google Password Manager. And also the traveling plan. So when you're traveling, we know it's the festive season now, and most people are traveling, leaving their location either for celebration or what have you. So in as much as you want to post that you are not in town, be very mindful again with putting out the exact or the real-time location of where you are. Again, you don't know who is watching. This is the same internet that a lot of people get scammed, get bullied, and also do get job, and also do get maybe spouses. So definitely this is a place whereby you have to be very mindful of what you post out there, especially when you travel. Yeah, you are outside Nigeria and you want to brag about it, or you're outside your country, you just want to brag about it that you are outside. So please be very mindful of dropping the exact location. Please be very mindful. You can just, maybe if you want to, you can drop the country, but not the exact location where you are. Next is the your personal relationship. Not everyone wants to just take it out there on social media to tell everyone that this is maybe my current relationship with this person, or I am related to this person, and so on, because they can actually bypass you. Maybe somebody tried to get something through you and the person couldn't get it, and maybe you have posted that you are related to so person, maybe a family member. It can even be your junior your little sis or your little brother. They can just bypass you thinking that those ones are their weak points, and they can just go through them and get a lot of your own information. So please be very mindful of the way you tag your relations on social media, because they can actually be used as scapegoats to get something that is maybe very sensitive related to you or to your family. Also, your work related information, especially when you are working in a very sensitive place, or a place that involves security. Please be very mindful. It's not appropriate for you to put out your location or the name of the place you are working. And this is where I really salute people that are working in, let's say, the security agency. Most of them, even if they want to snap the pictures and just post on social media, you find them like covering their ID cards with maybe some emojis or with some colors, just so that not everyone gets to see where they are working. And also people that are in the financial sector also, they do try to also cover up so that not everyone gets to see exactly where they are working. So in as much as you want to say that you are working with maybe a very big company, you also need to be very mindful of putting it all out there. So I'm talking about this safeguarding sensitive data on social media and other platform. You have to understand one, your privacy setting. I will make Facebook as my case study. When it comes to Facebook, there's this option that you have to actually allow maybe somebody tag you on a particular post. So you see, you have to make good use of that so that they don't spam your timeline with some like posts that you don't want to see on your timeline. So go to your settings and ensure that your privacy in terms of tagging, you have really ensured that nobody should tag you except maybe your friend or nobody at all, or you have to review a tag before you even approve it on your timeline. This is something I've been practicing for years, and it has been working wonders, especially on my timeline. On my timeline, any post you see, I approve of it before it's actually on my timeline. And I really love that particular feature. Also, your two-factor authentication, very, very important. Just like Vicky mentioned, this WhatsApp scammers, they can just call you and be like, a code is sent to you. Okay, I'll just use my sister as an instance. She received a call from her son's school saying that they are going to send her a code. It's related to their PTA meeting, and they want her to quickly send the code. And they targeted the time around noon, and she's a teller. She's definitely busy around that time, and it's also a festive period, so her head was really hot that afternoon trying to put clothes together and all of that. And immediately they just told her that a code was sent to you from so school, and it's related to the PTA meeting of your son. We need to get that code so that we register you part of the parents that will be attending. She was just up to the task. She was just calling the code out for them, not knowing that they were scammers. And immediately she finished calling those code, her WhatsApp was just taken. So please, parents should also be very, very mindful. No school should tell you that they are going to send a code to you via WhatsApp, and then you read out the code to them in the name of PTA or anything related to your children's school affairs. Please be very mindful of that. Do not give out your code to anyone except that you really trust the person that you're sending it to. Also reviewing app permissions. I'll give an instance with let's say you're downloading a calculator on your phone, and then the calculator will start asking you permissions of, will you like um will you like allow access to your camera? Like, what does calculator has to do with your camera? Like, you have to weigh sometimes your common sense. You have to you have to weigh some of the things that you allow, some of the permission you give some of these applications. Be very mindful. Or you be saying that calculator is asking you, they want to have access to your contact. Why? What are they going to do with your contact? So be very mindful when downloading this third parties application. They request for so much from you. Allow access to this, allow access to this. Sometimes if you don't even allow the access, they will tell you that you cannot even continue to make use of that application. So yeah, if it is not something that you must use, please let them go. You don't have to allow access to too much information. Before you know it, they have access to your contact, and they'll start messaging that you borrowed some money from them. And before you know it, you're out there, people are receiving call, your family members are receiving threatening calls that you have collected so money and you did not return. Meanwhile, you have no idea when that happened. So please be very mindful about that. Also, be mindful of third-party applications. I'll use Facebook as a case study here because Facebook has a lot of third-party, let's say, games inbuilt in it. So you just receive a notification, somebody is inviting you to play a game. So when playing those games, you will notice before even logging into that game, it will be asking you to log in with your Facebook details. So if you give them your Facebook details, so now they have access to your Facebook, they have your login details now, and before you know it, they can start collecting your data. They will start sending you some kind of adverts that you don't even need to see on your timeline, and so on, so many things. So please be very mindful of all those kind of third parties that you engage with on your social media, especially Facebook. Think before you share. Always think very, very well before you share your information. Even if the person that is asking you for that information know you know the person, and you're 100% sure the person is not going to harm you. Sometimes you can just receive the message via maybe WhatsApp or just normal SMS. Give the person a call the person, know why the person is asking for those kind of information before you give them out there, because your data is very sensitive. You can be painted black for giving such kind of information out there. So be very careful. Also, regularly monitor your accounts. I'll use your Google Gmail in this case study. Ensure that you check the kind of devices that are logged into your Google account and also other social media accounts. Check if there's any device that you feel it's looking fishy or you don't know this device. Please remove that device from your account, because you don't know, maybe it's somebody that is trying to, or maybe that is even watching what you are doing or also doing something with your name out there. So please be very mindful, and also always check time to time, always check to see what kind of devices are logged into your account. Educate yourself. Like, education, knowledge is almost everywhere now, but at the same time, distractions are also there. So please be very, very much aware of some of these activities, some of these scams activities that are happening in our society nowadays or on the cyberspace nowadays, and always ensure that you are aware of how to protect yourselves, because there's always a safe way. There's always an advice on how you can protect yourself from all these kind of malicious activities. So the next, or should I say the last topic I'll be discussing about is the cybersecurity basics. So I'll be touching about some of the fundamental cybersecurity principles and also the practical steps for securing your device and your online account. So the first thing I have is your risk assessment. Always identify and also assess your potential risks of your device and data. Understand the value of the information you are protecting and also the potential impact of a security breach. So for instance, now you have a Facebook account. probably you are a social media manager and you are managing a lot of pages. Understand that those pages belongs to maybe some business people, and this is not just for you. Understand how risky it is for other people to have it. So that way, you should know how to protect yourself, protect that account from getting any breach from unwanted guests. So please be very mindful. Those risks shouldn't be something that you should just joke around with. We have data encryption. Use encryption of sensitive data, both in transit and at rest. This ensures that even if data is intercepted, it remains unreadable without the proper decryption key. And this is something that I see WhatsApp using, and I really salute them for that courage. And the next one I have is your firewalls. Install and configure your firewalls to monitor and control your incoming and outgoing network traffic. Your firewalls act as a barrier between your device and your potential threat. And this is something that I use on my system to just ensure that even if I am downloading something from the internet, if it is not safe, it will alert me that so thing that I'm trying to download to my system is not safe. So it all remains down to me if I really want to go ahead to do that or just to stay away from that. Some regular software updates, which most of us are guilty of. I know we all complain about data consumption all the time, but believe me, if you don't update your operating systems, your antivirus, your applications are outdated, these are risks. They are open to a lot of vulnerability. So you have to ensure that you always update them and they are always up to date. This will really prevent them from getting any security patches. Strong authentication, I've talked about that. Your two-step verification, ensure that you have that. It is actually an extra layer of security which is beyond just your password. And I would relate this to something that has happened to me like a few years ago where I lost my phone. And when I lost my phone, I am really grateful for the fact that I have all these two-step verification on all my social media accounts. So the person that took the phone wanted to actually hijack my Instagram, and he couldn't do that because it actually requires that two-step verification code. So in a nutshell, I've just given out myself out there as an instance so that you understand that it has actually helped me and saved me from losing my account. The next thing I have is my user education, which is you obviously making yourself aware and also educating yourself about some of these cyber security threats. Ensure that you take classes. There's a bunch and a bunch of free online classes that you can take about cybersecurity. Ensure that you take them so that you understand things like this phishing that we are talking about, malware, social engineering, and so on, and how you can defend and protect yourself from all these cyber threats. Also ensure that you back up. Yes, backup is something that I really subscribe to. I'm a very huge fan of backup. In as much as my storage can be very small, you can ask me for maybe a data from, let's say, 2015. Maybe is it a picture, a document? I have them back up. So please always back up your data. Through that way, you'll not be losing informations that are very important or very sensitive to you. Next I have is your network security. If you are using a lot of us, I'll use Nigerians as an instance. Immediately we visit a place and we notice that there's free Wi-Fi. Immediately we just start connecting without really caring where we are connecting our devices to. Please be very careful. It's not all free network that you see that are actually free network. Some of them are trapped. They are just created so that you just come in and before you know it, your network is taken. So please be very careful with all those free network that or free Wi-Fi that you are seeing all over the place. And also the final thing I have is develop and implement an incident response plan. Know what step to take in case of security incidents to minimize the damage and recover yourself quickly. So for the best practical steps for securing your devices and your online accounts, I would advise that you create a strong, unique password, your two-step, of course, and also for your system, ensure that, and also sometimes your mobile phone, ensure that you have your antivirus and ensure that it's always updated. Your firewall protection should always be on. Regularly, software updates should also be done. Email security, you should also ensure that it's done, and also the Wi-Fi connection, ensure that it's not all Wi-Fi that you connect to, and also back up your devices regularly, and also review permissions before you accept. Privacy settings, ensure that you have checked them properly before you limit access or the ability of someone to see you. And this is where some people actually prefer to have their accounts, especially Instagram or TikTok, as private account, and this is for a reason best known to them. But for business owners, this is not a very good strategy, but for private use, it's actually a very good strategy. So implementing this cybersecurity principles and practices can significantly enhance your overall security posture, and also protecting your devices and personal information from a wide range of cyber threats. So this is all I have for us, and thank you very much for having me.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Zainab. That was really good, and I'm sure we all learned a lot. So, my name is Salma Ahmed, and I'm a paralegal. I'm your fourth speaker, and I'll be talking to you about ethical online behavior and cyberbullying. I don't think you can talk about ethical online behavior without talking about cyberbullying. They're so interrelated because cyberbullying would be the exact opposite of ethical online behavior. So, what is ethical online behavior? It's the acceptable way to behave on the internet. So, nearly everyone uses a phone, even kids use phones right now. So, I think it's one of the biggest problems we're facing on the internet right now. Um, Unethical online behavior and cyberbullying. And I find that majority of the targets are female. So whether you're a grown woman or you're a young lady or a small girl, whatever you're doing online, people tend to attack you for it. You will not believe how ridiculous people can get. And I get that sometimes people just don't have anything else to do with their life. So they come online and they find someone doing something good and they attack that person. But that's their problem. Now, what's the way to create a better cyber landscape? So the first thing we can do is try to combat this unethical online behavior. And I think we all have a role to play. The smallest thing you do can affect another person. Someone can be bullying another person and you'd laugh and you know you've taken part in that. And that's really, really wrong. And under the law, we don't really call it cyberbullying, we call it cyber stalking. So it's when you use electronic communication, maybe calls, messages, or emails to attack other people. And when you do that, you really put them in a very bad spot. Um, so, what are the ways that we can combat this? The first way we can do it is through creating awareness. You let people know that so behaviors um, constitute cyberbullying or cyber stalking. And it's not just cyber stalking. When Vicky was talking, she mentioned phishing. When Nafisa was talking, she mentioned, I think, using emails to lure people to click and then stealing their information. All of those things are crimes under the law. And I feel like a lot of people don't know this. They are actually cyber crimes and you can sue people for them in court. Majority of these offenses carry 3 to 5 or 7 years in prison and millions of nairas in fine. And I think in 2017, this is very recent, although a lot of people tend not to, report cybercrime to the police. But in 2017, a woman was a victim of a cybercrime. So she was engaged in a relationship with this man, and then she wanted to end it. She got tired of it, but he didn't want her to end it. So he threatened to release her nudes unless she paid him 2,000 naira, 2,100 naira. She didn't have the money, so he went ahead to release them on Facebook, and she took him to court. When she took him to court, he was fined. He had to pay her 500,000 naira, and he was also in prison. And this was a man that was married with kids of his own. Another devastating effect of unethical online behavior and cyberbullying is that it could push the victims into, anxiety and depression. And under the law, things like anxiety and depression constitute grievous bodily harm. Because in another case that happened lots of years ago, so before we got familiar with all these mental health issues such as anxiety and depression, because now we're very well aware of these things. But before even that, there was a woman that was she was still engaged in a romantic relationship with another man. So she got tired of it. She wanted to end it, and he wasn't happy about it. So he kept calling her and calling her. And sometimes he'd go to her house, he'd disturb her neighbors. He would throw stones at her door. And she's a young woman living alone. Obviously, she'd be scared because there have been so many instances of young men killing, young women that ended relationships with them. So, she got severely depressed. She took him to court, and had the psychological damage he caused her was regarded as constituted grievous bodily harm, and he had to go to jail for a long time and had to pay her damages so that she could get treatment for the depression and anxiety he caused her. So, what are the ways that we can combat cyberbullying? So the first thing is you have to keep all your evidence. First of all, let's identify the ways that you can understand if someone is trying to, bully you. The first thing is the person might be sending you threats via text messages. I think one of the very prevalent things right now is happening is sextortion. So like a person would message you if you're unlucky, maybe you've sent someone your intimate pictures. A person can text you with an anonymous account and tell you that, okay, they have so pictures of you. Probably you sent it to an intimate friend, an intimate person, and the person shared it with perhaps a friend, and they'll tell you that they have intimate photos of you, and unless you keep sending them intimate photos of you, they're going to expose you. And perhaps out of fear, you keep sending those more pictures to them, and it's only going to get worse. I think the first thing you need to do is you need to not give in to that kind of thing. Don't give in, and make sure that you keep all of the screenshots, because screenshots are admissible in court. So you need to keep all of your screenshots, all of the voice notes. If they send voice notes, record those. If it's via phone calls, you need to record those and keep them so that you can take them to the police, because these kinds of crimes, they attract so many years, in jail, and you're going to cash in a lot. So another way that you can combat this is by refusing to engage. You can block, because I've been in situations where people, you get online, you see problematic people all the time, and you decide that, oh, I don't want this person near me. So usually what I do on my Twitter is that the moment I come across a problematic tweet from a problematic person, I go ahead to block that account so that they won't even have any access to me ever in the future. But what these people do is that, okay, they have one friend, maybe you have an altercation with one person, all of them come at you. And it happens a lot to young women. So, and I'm sure if you're very active on Twitter, you know the people to avoid. If you're very active, you see them online. You've never met them, you've never seen them, they don't know anything about you, but you maybe make one tweet, an opinion, and they come for you. And they keep attacking you over and over again. And if you block one person, their friend will come at you. And if you block that one, another friend will come at you. So it's like a gathering. So it happened to me. I see problematic people from afar and I start blocking them. I block you, I block your friend, I block your brother, I block your sister, so that you never have any kind of access to me. But at the end of the day, someone may find you. They might come across your account one day and they will see that, oh, this person is blocked. I don't know this person. I've never met them. Why have they blocked me? You are problematic. That's why people are blocking you. So I think when they found me, they were calling me all sorts of names. but it didn't matter because I wasn't seeing it, and they didn't have direct access to me, and I think that helps. So you can block them so that they won't have any kind of access to you, and you won't even see their tweets, and they won't see yours, so they won't come for you. Um, Another thing we can do is to counter hate speech. So I think a lot of us engage in hate speech, and we don't even know that we do it. And things that happen online usually escalate, and they get really worse physically. So there was I think it was last year, there was a case of a girl sending a voice note to a group. Um, People said she committed blasphemy. I didn't hear the voice note, so I don't know. But people kept sharing that voice note, and there was a lot of outrage. And at the end of the day, I think the name of the girl was Deborah. But I think they killed her. They beat her to death, or they burnt her, and things like that. And I think that they misunderstood the whole thing. I think we need to take a step back and look at ourselves, look at our priorities and the things we do, and try as much as possible not to incite any kind of violence, whether online or physical. So we can also you can also seek counseling, because as much as people try to say that it only happens online, you can easily just turn off your phone and you forget about those people. I don't think it really works that way, because you get off your phone, but you keep thinking, okay, what if another, because that's why I do, when I make a tweet and I think that it's controversial, I keep thinking, what if this person has quoted? What if someone has problematic has quoted it? So we can't ignore the fact that these things, although they happen online, they affect us psychologically. And what we can do is try to protect ourselves by blocking those people, those problematic kind of people, trying to be respectful of ourselves, and try to also have a civil discourse between yourselves. Not every argument has to end in insult. And I think, personally, I think any discussion that has to end in insults, it's not a very intelligent conversation. Okay. And and I think that we really need to start steering people. I like when we talk about that, because in as much as we say, be the bigger person, you don't have to engage. We actually have to start steering these people, because they do a lot of damage to people, to us, to our mental health. And it's very important for you to, take care of yourself, take care of your mental health, because no matter how we take care of our physical bodies, our mental health, I think, comes first. You need to kiss your brain, and you need to love yourself, and you need to stay away from these people. And you also need to steal the shit out of them, because people won't learn until, they face the right consequences. Um, Sorry. And I think that's all I have for today on ethical online behavior and cyber stalking, cyberbullying. Thank you. Does anyone have any questions? Because at the beginning of the session, we said if you have any questions, you should leave them in the comment section, in the chat box, along with the name of the speaker you want to answer that question. So I think we'll check those out. Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for putting this together. I really appreciate. Okay, I have two questions. This question is to Vicky Johnson. My question is, someone who is already very good at programming and finds cybersecurity along the line, how can you convince that person to switch from programming into cybersecurity? And how can you also be a mentor and a guide to someone who is also starting out in cybersecurity?
I don't really think that I'm in the right position to answer that question, because I'm not a cybersecurity expert. I don't do cybersecurity as a profession. I'm a web designer and a digital marketer. But I would advise that if you are interested in cybersecurity, that you join communities where you can look online for communities where you can find cybersecurity experts. You can search on YouTube. YouTube is an online university for almost everything. Search for YouTubers who talk about this topic. Since you're still at the stage where you're trying to figure out whether you're interested in this thing, YouTube is the best place to start. Find people who talk about it, watch their videos, watch tutorials. If it piques your interest after this stage, like if you are encouraged to continue in that direction, then you can go online and invest in a course on maybe Coursera. On Coursera, you can even take free courses. Go on Coursera, apply for a scholarship to take a free course in it. And who knows, it might be your big break. Who knows? But as for me personally, I'm not necessarily trying to convince anyone to go into cybersecurity. My aim here is that everyday people know how to secure their, how to stay secure while using the internet. And so cybersecurity as a profession is a whole nother topic. Did I answer your question?
Yes, you did. You did.
Okay, thanks.
And then the second question is, will you be able to drop details for us to access, like for you to be a mentor to us or something?
A mentor on cybersecurity?
Not really.
Okay, so yes, I write a newsletter, and basically my newsletter is about, I drop tips and insights as to how I got started, things I faced during my journey in tech. And like I said, I'm a web designer and a digital marketer. So relating to that area, you can find my newsletter at Vicky Johnson. I'll drop it in the chat box if there's one. VickyJohnson.link/digital discourse. And every week you hear from me you can write me back. Subscribers always write me back, and it's very interesting to read their responses. So you can always write me back when you receive my newsletter or respond to the email. And that way I can provide guidance. Is the second question answered?
Thank you very much. Yes,
right.
it was.
All right.
Thank you.
Hello, good evening. I don't know if you can hear me. I'm not directing my question to anyone, but I'm asking the question in general. I don't know. I have a little bit knowledge about cybersecurity, so I find it interesting. But I got to notice my IP address. I own a phone, right, and a smartphone. So I got to notice my IP. Is it possible for an IP address to be in another state while you are in another state? Like my IP address is showing me I'm in Abuja while I'm in Kano State. So I don't know. Maybe it's like I don't know if I should be worried since the day I came to find out that it might be harmful for me for my phone to have an IP address of another location while I'm in another location. So that's my first question. As for my second question, I the social media, like the way we post on social media, I don't know if we can get a guide on how to not give people access to direct tag you directly on a post. Thank you.
Okay, for the location thing you asked, mostly is either from your weather or from the settings of your location in your phone. So you have to check that out. And definitely there's a way you can adjust that setting. But sometimes it doesn't really adjust. It's just map out to maybe if you're in Nigeria, it will just give you maybe Lagos or Abuja, depending on what it feels it's more accurate or more closer to where you are. So that's what I can say for this one. And any of the speakers that want to add up, please should add up to that. Then for the second question you asked about tagging, which of the social media, please? Is it Facebook that you mentioned?
I use Facebook the most. I'm really not good with Instagram. So there are many times like people try to like hack my account. Although I had to link it to my what do they call it? Gmail account so I can get notification of who's trying to have access to my account.
So for that, definitely, if you go to your Facebook, your settings and privacy, there's a lot of options there where you can actually see the devices that are either requesting to make use of your account or that are using your account. And from there, you can take the necessary steps either to remove or to allow it.
All right, my question goes to the legal or legal. She talked about something about suing people who are into cyberbullying and all of that. Now, the thing is, how can we actually make the law enforcement people cooperate with us with just the username and stuff?
The first step you can take towards, reporting cyberbullying, most of the time you find that some of the accounts, there are instances where the person behind the account, or the name is there, but then when it comes to a stage where um the person is anonymous, maybe they created an account, because there are so many times that people will create accounts, purposely to target one single person, or you go to the police. They have softwares. Where I live, I don't know about other states, but where I live in Katsina, they have softwares to track these accounts. And if you're lucky enough, where you live, they have sophisticated appliances and devices. They can track the account and find out who the person is. And if you have the resources, you can even bring in your tech person that can actually track and find out and get information about the account, perhaps maybe the number they registered with or an email, to track the identity of the person. And then when you get the identity of the person, a case can be instituted in a court. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is cybersecurity and networking related, or they are different in nature?
Okay,
All
I'll
right,
go
then.
first.
Yeah, sorry. Okay, so I'm not a cybersecurity expert either, but let me add on what Vicky said. They are related, but they are not the same in the sense that I believe that networking is to do with networks and the connection between computers in a network. And cybersecurity is related to protecting the computers or the devices on the network. So they are very much related in the sense that I think it's cybersecurity. No, networking is a subset of cybersecurity is a subset of networking, which means that it's a part of networking that deals with protecting devices on the network. That's at least what I understand. Like I said, I'm not a cybersecurity expert either. I don't know if anybody else wants to add to that. Yeah.
I want to point out something. It seems that Karen is really interested in cybersecurity as a profession, and that's really good to see, to be honest. But I must say that after this webinar, I think that you should pursue this. Just like I said, go on YouTube and find people who are actually experts in this field and try to learn from them and maybe take courses on it. And if you're looking for guidance, trust me, you'll get that on the internet. If you just look, you will definitely find people on Facebook. Just search for cybersecurity groups. I can assure you that you find where you can get the guidance that you're looking for. This webinar has more to do with the everyday person learning how to stay safe online. And I don't know if maybe the message was not made very clear, but like I said, it's really nice to see that. It's really nice to see your interest in cybersecurity as a profession, and I encourage you to pursue it.
Also, I think Vicky Johnson really did well trying to answer that question, and of course, Hafsa came in and then she spoke exactly what was in my mind. So there's no point to just go about that. Networking and cybersecurity, they work hand in hand. They are an extension of each other. So you can't have cybersecurity without a network. Of course, what exactly are you securing if the network is not there? So the network is what everybody is trying to secure. It could be physical, it could be virtual. It could be physical, it could be wireless, right? So any networking has to do with, putting A and B together. It could be, devices together. It could be just people together. The other, it could be application to application. It could be computer to, an entirely different entity or out there. But the truth is, there has to be something protecting that network. Networking is all about connecting the two things together. Cybersecurity is making sure that that connection is protected against hackers and crackers. So that is just the basic, I think, the most fundamental way to explain what cybersecurity is in relation to networking. I hope that answers your question, Karen.
Yes, it does. Thanks so much.
Great, great. Also, if you're looking forward to having a mentor on cybersecurity, you can just message you can join the Geltech Africa community, and then you can message me or any of the admins there. Of course, we'll definitely set you up with cybersecurity experts that would be able to put you through your journey.
Okay. Thank you everyone for all of your contributions. And I think that at the end of the day, instead of complaining that people are not doing this or that, all we can do is go out there, get into the tech space, and create or make the change that we would like to see in the world. So thank you everyone for your contributions. Hafsa, Vicky, Zainab, and all of our guests. Thank you very much. This was a very good session. And thank you to Girl Tech Africa for having us.